Hi, and thanks for watching the third installment of the What Have I Done series, this time about dioramas. This video is part of the What Have I Done series. There are 5 videos in this series, and that's role-playing group, miniatures for role-playing, dioramas, replicas and stuff. The point of these videos is not to show off, but to, like they say, show and tell. And the idea is, the reason why I'm doing this is to, well, as always, to inspire you. And if you get inspired and do something based on what I show or tell, then please let me know, share pictures or videos with me, and I'd love to see and I'd love to share. So, without further ado, let's have at it. So, again a little introduction. You might probably be aware of what dioramas are. They're small landscapes in a nutshell. Well, I didn't make any in actual nutshells, but you know what I mean. And I kind of like those. I like to miniaturize stuff, and I have made several that didn't make it across time, but I think I can dig up some pictures of those, and of course I'll keep talking about it, as I always do. So to give you an impression, let's start with this rather old one. And we're back with role-playing and Dungeons and Dragons. This has actually nothing to do with the actual role-playing, but it hails from Dungeons and Dragon lore, or mythology rather. And in the, I think it was the 3rd edition, don't know where we're at now, there were many realms. There was this cosmic wheel thing, someone went haywire with their imagination, and I liked it. And this Elysium was part of that, and those realms were divided. This is one realm divided in 4 layers, and there's a river flowing down with pieces of wire, and the bottom one, which is supposed to be some kind of bog, is actually cast in resin, which was kind of pointless because all it got was this border with actually some nasty rim here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, basically. And what I used to make these landscapes, focus would be nice. I'm kind of partial to this one because it came out neat, I hope. What I used is basic plaster, or more to the point, the stuff you buy in tubes to fix holes in the wall. Another one from Dungeons and Dragons is this one. Those are the 9 hells of Balto. 9 hells, many devils there. And yes, in the campaign we've visited that place and of course wreaked havoc, but I also like give you an example, I like this layer best. This is a town, or a city, or whatever. I think the idea was that once you enter it you can never leave. If you walk in one direction there'll always be more houses, which probably means the rent is pretty low. Anyway, and if you, I'd have to read up on it, but if you knew the lore you'd see here, I think this was the ruler palace or something. There's some kind of pleasure garden. This is probably a prison as far as I remember, and there are some buildings that have, let's say, significance. There's one with 3 prongs. I think I added that to have something to guide in the campaign. And this is, baking clay, or modeling clay that you bake in the oven, and there's a piece of cardboard underneath here. And that's how I made all of those. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with the mythology. It might not be your thing, and that's okay. But I kind of like replicating these things, and actually this here is a forest, and I just made it by putting blobs of color together and then used a toothpick to bash some texture in it. If you're interested in seeing all those layers up close, I'd be more than happy to take pictures and share them on my website. Just let me know in the comments. Then we have another one which is based on my own haywire imagination, and it's this. This is supposed to be a prison, and you might be able to see down Down at the center there's some kind of iris or dome shaped thing that was supposed to be the center of it, and there would be imprisoned, of course, a creature of immense power and danger and whatnot. And we never got there in the campaign actually, but the idea was that these would be layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I forgot a 7th. Anyway, this actually didn't take that long to make, and there's a styrofoam ball that served as the base for it. Well, what's left of it, and yeah, this used to be complete, but well, things get dropped around here. Something I'd like to point out is that the worms in the desert, they have 3 jaws, as in the original or the first Dune movie. I'm old school. I don't want to get into details, but once again I direct your attention to the second and third layer. I think these are, I think, red crystals or something, and then a lava thingy with very few stepstones. And I think it's quite easy to achieve cool looking textures and stuff with very little effort with this material. I think, well, yes, I just worked with a toothpick. That's the last one I have in person, and it's sitting in a candle, because that was what I had on hand. Well, I have a little bench here. There's a bowel. Now I have bowel movement. Sorry. There are also some odd, well, not actually odd, but simple shapes. These are rolled and then cut to pieces, and there's a blue one. What is that? Well, that's one of the things that I started but didn't finish. So we also have a toilet seat. Several of those actually. And beds. All made from the same bakeable modeling clay, and a fireplace. So what was that supposed to be? Like I said, it never came to pass, and well, maybe these two will give it away. A big green snake and a flaming bird. No, I'm not swearing, it's actually flaming. I meant to build Hogwarts. This of course is the basilisk, and this is Fawkes the phoenix. And somehow I think I started to lay out stuff on plywood, which hall or part of the castle would go where, and I would never have dared to make it actually authentic. I just have put, like they do in toys, put the important rooms next to each other and pretend. I don't think I ever played with any of my dioramas actually, I just made them. Anyway, I never got there, and I'm stuck with a few beds. But they take up much less space than the finished one would have. So that's what I have on hand to show you. Another thing that I made or tried to make, I didn't get that far again, but I enjoyed playing Warcraft 3 and the expansion. Not so much World of Warcraft, but I think one of the things I enjoyed with Warcraft 3, in case you don't know it, it's a strategy, not round base, it's a real-time strategy game, that's the term, and you can upgrade stuff. So, for example, you have the humans, and they have shields, and you can upgrade those shields. And you've got these little icons there. So, what did I do? It's obvious, of course, I think. I started making these icons. Say a shield made from wood, and the next one would be a shield made from metal, and the third upgrade would be, I don't know, glittering metal with golden studs or stuff like that. And in Warcraft you have several different races, like the undead, the elves, the humans of course, and they all had these icons, the special icons, and I set out to make them. One of the things I can show you actually is for the, I think it was the undead, they had the main air superiority unit, don't correct me if I'm wrong, was a worm, which is to say a dragon, and this dragon came in, well, the dragon scales came in 3 different strengths. This would be the icon for the weakest or the first upgrade. Then here's the second upgrade and the third one, and of course I went ahead and put the whole thing into the actual building that you need to build to, well, to produce, or to be able to produce these dragons. That's how I rolled back then. Might do it again. And I add a few pictures, or I guess I probably have added a few pictures of those if I found them. But just to give you an idea of the size, I took a piece of, a sheet, I should say, of thin plywood in A4, or you could say letter, whatever, and then cut out about the bottom third, flipped it, and to make an L shape like this, with a few brackets here to give it stability, and that would be the, well, the diorama. The idea was to cram everything I could in there, paint the background with a themed image. I never had much illusions about the kind of stuff I could draw, so I probably would have stuck with buildings. And I found one more, or I remembered it, more to the point. And this one, well, I wouldn't go as far as to calling any of what I did a masterpiece, because, well, if I did, I couldn't improve myself anymore. So it's not a masterpiece, but it's the one that I like the most. It's also made from the baking clay stuff, and you might find this familiar if you've ever played Guild Wars, the first one, namely the chapter Nightfall. This is the Realm of Torment. What it is? Well, basically it's a part of the game where one of the gods went mad and was imprisoned, and this is what his prison, wrapped by his Lovecraftian anger issues. It's really diverse and nasty in places. And why do I have a black finger? Sorry. It's really diverse and colorful, and it's set up in realms and gates, this way working your way up to finally to here, where that's the only piece that's missing. There was supposed to be the, well, this creature. It's a large head and 2 large hands, so maybe I find those pieces at some point, but yeah. Found it. Actually, his head was sticking somewhere here. I had tilted it carrying it here, but I hope I didn't throw away the hands. But it stuck with a bead of hot glue, and that's the bad guy's head. There we go. This is my not quite masterpiece. Yeah, and that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'd ask you anyway to leave a comment down below to let me know whether you like them. And just in case you get inspired to make something of your own, let me know, share pictures or videos with me so I can share them with everyone. Thanks for watching, and remember to be inspired. I never got that far, but